Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have Nilesh Bhai amongst us, but as per our normal routine, we'll start with the prayer.
ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णू गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः विघ्नेशानमुनि गुरुसस्मरुनि लक्ष्मीस आवाहिले आम्ही गुंतवणूकशास्त्र शिकण्या हे सत्र आरंभिले केव्हा स्थावर आणि जंगम कधी कोठे किती गुंतवू चर्चा मंथन तज्ञ बोध मिळता हे प्रश्नही सोडवू ठेवी भाग सुवर्ण पोस्ट अथवा रोखे तसे फंडते वृद्धी भांडवली मिळो कर नको पर्याय हो कोणते कोठे उत्तम रोखता सुगमता लाभांश वा व्याजही कोठे गुंतविणे सुरक्षित असे नोंदीस कैसी वही सन्मार्गे धनसंपदा मिळविणे अत्यंत आवश्यक पैसा ध्येय नसे म्हणून जपणे जाणीव सामाजिक ज्ञानाचा उपयोग गुंतवणुकी साठी सदा होऊ दे हे सारे समजावया सुमती दे आम्हास तू शारदे.
Once again, welcome everyone. I request Uday sir and Chitra sir to please welcome Nilesha on the stage. I request Uday sir to speak 2 minutes about Lokmanya Seva Sangha and PV Bhagwat Guidance Cell.
The most awaited personality on the dais, Nilesh Bhai Shah, our president, Mukundrao Chitale. I'm not going to take much time. I'm aware you are keen to listen to him post this election, and we're looking for direction from Nilesh Bhai probably. Just to tell you about us, Lokmanya Seva Sangha just completed 101 years of since its inception, and we have been doing the kind of social programs right from child vaccination to the old age home. And we had a lot of luminaries who visited over a period. Again, to talk about this investor guidance cell, we started in 1987, even 5 years before SEBI was born. So we have been taking this initiative. Our principal MD Lime, who initiated this thought, and initially Mr. Borkar and Mr. Suhas Zaveri, they were the pioneers. And Principal Lime was 17 years, he was chairman of this investor guidance cell. We conduct a lot of programs for the purpose of investors, right from taking their complaints, guidance on various investments, but we never recommend any stock, never recommend any mutual fund scheme, so that we have maintained for last so many years. Apart from that, Nilesh Bhai, we hold 2 programs every twice a month between 11 to 12, where a lot of luminaries come and address us. We also hold one program for one-to-one guidance, which is free of cost to the person who comes here with pre-appointment. Of late, we started new initiatives. We had one program done for the Villeparle police station, where the lady staff and the spouses of the gent staff, we had the sessions conducted there. One unique program we had a couple of months back that where in these premises only, we conducted financial guidance for transgenders. And we had overwhelming response, more than 100 transgenders turned up. It was really a surprise to us. And we were really overwhelmed, not only by their attendance, but the way they got their treatment, they were really happy, and we are taking that forward to make them employable as well. So, and also we started having such kind of programs. We go outside these premises. We visit some colleges and we conduct for the students as well. So these are the various initiatives we have taken over a period. In fact, to just name a few of the stalwarts here, we always talk about dividend yield, like a safe investment. Nilesh Bhai always talks about that. There are many persons from this institute, their livelihood also was only for dividend, and they survived so many years. So you can imagine the kind of holding they have, and they don't just depend on market ups and downs. And we are aware about the vagaries of the market, how it happens pre-election, post-election. We just had a big lesson to learn. But then we are here to actually learn from you, Nilesh Bhai. So without taking much of time, I stop here. And I also welcome all of you once again. Thank you.
So it's indeed an honor to welcome Nilesh Bhai, gold medalist chartered accountant, merit holder cost accountant, started his career with Franklin Templeton, Axis, ICICI, and currently for more than 10 years with Kotak. But the most unique thing about Nilesh Bhai is, I've been following Nilesh Bhai for the last 20 years, is his humility towards his investors and towards everyone he meets around. If today, if I tell you Nilesh Bhai has to sit here within this audience, no one will even know that Nilesh Bhai is among the audience. Extremely down-to-earth person. So that reminds me, I'll just take 2 minutes of a story. A legendary Gulzar Saab once was asked to felicitate Lata Mangeshkar. So he said, Lata ji ऐसी हैं, वैसी हैं, ये है, वो है. And the last he said, राज की बात बताएं, लता जी बहुत बढ़िया गाती हैं. तो मैं राज की बात बताऊं, नीलेश भाई बहुत बढ़िया रिटर्न बना के देते हैं. So I now request Chitresh sir to please welcome and felicitate Nilesh Bhai. So without wasting much time, I'll invite Nilesh Bhai to please enlighten us.
We started with the prayer, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. It is indeed a matter of pride for me. I'm standing in front of my Guru. Mukund sir was my professor in Sydenham College. And so many things we are today is because our teachers helped us. In fact, I lost my father at a very young age, and my first reaction was that ki padhai chodo, kaam pe lag jate hain. And sir, there was a college school principal, Jani sir, who said that you are not letting go education. As long as you top the class, I'll pay the fees. So I have reached here only because there was a teacher who supported my study. I have studied on free ships all throughout my life, including sir in college. In Sydenham College, we had Poor Students Education Relief Fund. I am a product of that fund. So thank you, sir, for being here. It's indeed a pride to share my thoughts on market. If we look at stock market return, they are all linked with the economic performance. Economy upar, companies will make more profit, stock prices will follow. When we look at our economy today, it has done well. There is no debate about it, and it can be proven in numbers. For example, for last few years, we are the fastest growing major economy in the world. Next. And the best way to illustrate this is relative to the world. पहले हम ग्लोबल ग्रोथ ट्रेन के डिब्बे थे. दुनिया आगे बढ़ती थी, हम लोग पीछे पीछे आते थे. Now we have become the engine. along with China and America. Hamari growth will determine what happens to the world growth. In the beginning of this century, we were contributing low single digit to global incremental growth. Now, we are contributing almost double of that. तो डिब्बे से अगर engine बन गए, तो there can't be debate कि we are doing well. But voters' verdict suggests that everyone is not believing in that. Where is the disconnect? Why is 8% GDP growth not felt by everyone? So one, our train is running late. People who are in the train are enjoying the ride, but people who are standing on the platform waiting for train to arrive, they are paying the price of train running late. What do I mean by that? Thanks to COVID, our economy is running 1 year late. What we should have become in FY25 will become in FY26. So there is fear that ट्रेन में बैठे लोग खुश हैं, प्लेटफॉर्म पे खड़े लोग आज भी परेशान हैं. Now ये एक ही प्रॉब्लम होता तो वांधा नहीं था. There is another problem. ट्रेन का एक डिब्बा AC है और दूसरा डिब्बा थर्ड क्लास है. What do I mean by that? In India, we have more than 700 districts, but 13 districts alone contribute half of India's GDP. So आधा भारत 13 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स बनाते हैं और बाकी के 692 डिस्ट्रिक्ट मिला के बाकी का भारत बनाते हैं. People who are in this 13 districts like Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Kolkata, they are benefiting. Outside of that, people are not benefiting as much. This slide has not come as well, but हमारे यहाँ पे जो है वो कुछ नई बात नहीं है. दुनिया का दस्तूर भी यही है. These are about 4% of world's land mass. America, Europe, Middle East, Southeast Asia and Australia, they contribute half of the world, and rest 96% of world land mass contributes half of GDP. So हमारे यहाँ पे भी वैसा ही चल रहा है जो दुनिया में चल रहा है. Effectively, whenever you look at India, please remember there are 3 parts of India. यहाँ पे अंटिला और धारावी दोनों एक साथ coexist करते हैं. If you want to show richness of India, अंटिला दिखा दो. If you want to show poverty of India, धारावी दिखा दो. One portion of India, which is about 1% of our population, they live lifestyle of French citizen, rich country. 27% are middle income and 72% are below sub-Saharan Africa lifestyle. Every year we move people from poor to middle income and middle income to rich, but the pace is much, much slower than what we need. Now, election verdict has come. It has come below expectation of the market and the government. Will it change certain things? Answer is yes. Few things will continue. Digital India, UPI, Bharat, Aadhaar, ये सब चलता रहेगा. Infrastructure development चलती रहेगी. Renewable energy चलता रहेगा. Affordable housing चलता रहेगा. इनमें there will be no restriction, there will be no कटौती. Some things will go into the back burner. Land reform, labor reform, farm reform, ये सब चीज contentious है, debatable है, सरकार उसे पीछे छोड़ देगी. कुछ चीजें coalition politics से बरी हो जाएगी, like one nation, one election, uniform civil code या population control bill. So there will be changes in the government policies because of the electoral verdict as well as coalition politics. What is good about our economy? We are in a positive momentum. We are moving with a speed. That's partly due to government spending money. The infrastructure which we had in 2013 is almost getting doubled by 2024. What we built over 67 years of independence from 1947 to 2013, almost उतना ही इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर 2014 से 2024 में बना है. That's because government is spending money. This year also वो गाड़ी चलनी चाहिए because RBI ने एक बहुत बड़ा डिविडेंड सरकार को दिया है. अमेरिका में ब्याज की दरें 1-2% से 3-4% पे पहुंची. आरबीआई की इनकम बढ़ गई और उन्होंने बड़ा डिविडेंड दिया. इस साल सरकार की जेब में तकरीबन 1,23,000 करोड़ रुपया आरबीआई के डिविडेंड से ज़्यादा मिला है. वो पैसा वो लोग जाके खर्चा करेंगे तो अपनी गाड़ी चलती रहेगी. दूसरा, हमारी कुंडली में राहु काल तब चालू होता है जब ऑयल के दाम ट्रिपल डिजिट हो जाए. कोई ऊपर बैठ के राहु का पाठ पढ़ रहा है एकदम अच्छी तरह. ऑयल के दाम $70-80 के बीच में रहे हैं. There is some miracle happening which we can't understand. इजराइल हमास वॉर चालू है, रशिया यूक्रेन मारामारी कर रहे हैं, रेड सी में डिसरप्शन है, and yet oil prices have remained remarkably low. जब तक ऑयल नीचे, हमारी इकोनॉमी ऊपर. तीसरा, बचपन में आपने कहानी सुनी होगी 2 बिल्ली और 1 बंदर की. 2 बिल्ली को रोटी मिलती है बट बंदर खा जाता है. नॉर्मली हम लोग इस कहानी में बिल्ली होते थे, हमारी रोटी कोई और ले जाता था. अब हमारे पास अपॉर्चुनिटी है पंचतंत्र के बंदर बनने की. 2 बिल्लियाँ कौन है? एक अमेरिका, दूसरा चाइना. अमेरिका चाइना से बहुत सारी चीज़ें इंपोर्ट करता है, जैसे मेडिकल ग्लव्स, फेस मास्क, सिरिंजेस एंड नीडल्स. कोविड की वजह से हमने वो सब बनाना सीख लिया, बट उतना सस्ता नहीं बनाते थे जितना चाइना बनाता था. अब अमेरिका चाइना से इंपोर्ट के ऊपर टैरिफ लगा रहा है 25%, 50%. हम जो चीज़ 10 रुपये में बेचेंगे उसी चीज़ चाइना को 15 रुपये में बेचनी पड़ेगी. क्या हम इसका लाभ उठा सकते हैं? क्या हम वो सारी चीज़ें भारत से एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं? अगर वो हो गया तो अपने आप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ग्रोथ, जॉब्स क्रिएशन सब चालू हो जाएगा. कुछ चीज़ें भारत में इस वक्त ढंग से नहीं चल रही. एक, रूरल कंजम्पशन अर्बन कंजम्पशन से पीछे हैं. हम में से बहुत सारे लोग आज भी अपने गांव जाते हैं, विलेज में, वहाँ पे देख सकते हैं कि कंजम्पशन सॉफ्ट है. मास मार्केट प्रोडक्ट प्रीमियम प्रोडक्ट की तरह नहीं बिकते. एसयूवी के लिए 3 महीने का वेटिंग पीरियड है और एंट्री लेवल बाइक कोई खरीद नहीं रहा. टॉप ऑफ द पिरामिड का कंजम्पशन ठीक ठाक है, बॉटम ऑफ द पिरामिड को महंगाई की मार लग रही है. रूरल इकोनॉमी में सरकार ने फार्मर और कंज्यूमर के बीच में बैलेंस करने के लिए एग्री प्राइसेस बढ़ाए नहीं. महंगाई कम हो गई कंज्यूमर के लिए, बट फार्मर की इनकम भी कम हो गई. रूरल इकोनॉमी थोड़ी इस वक्त इसकी वजह से सबड्यूड है. एक चीज़ जो हमारी इकोनॉमी को इम्पैक्ट कर सकती है वो अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ पावर है. ऑलरेडी आप देख रहे हैं कि बम्बई के बाहर आउटस्किट्स के ऊपर थाने में, नासिक में, पुणे में पावर कट आने लगे हैं. ये इसलिए आ रहे हैं बिकॉज हमारे पावर प्लांट बहुत हाई यूटिलाइजेशन पे चल रहे हैं. पिछले साल से इस साल पावर की डिमांड 15% ऊपर आई है, 15%. आपने कैपेसिटी उतनी नहीं बढ़ाई. कैपेसिटी पावर की लगने में भी समय लगता है. तो आने वाले 2-3 सालों के लिए पावर शॉर्टेजेस शायद बढ़ती रहेगी बिफोर दे कैन बी टैकल्ड. ओवरऑल दुनिया के सामने अपनी इकोनॉमी अच्छा कर रही है, चैलेंजेस है, बट सामने सॉल्यूशन भी मिल रहा है. ना इसी चीज़ को आप इक्विटी मार्केट में कन्वर्ट करें. पहला सवाल उठता है, नीलेश भाई मार्केट कहाँ जाएंगे वो बता दो. अगर वो मुझे मालूम होता तो मैं नौकरी नहीं करता, मंडे ट्यूसडे ट्रेड करके रिटायर हो जाता. बट वो नहीं आता इसलिए तो नौकरी कर रहा हूँ. सर ने वो सिखाया नहीं. So let's find out where market will not go. आज की तारीख में हमारे मार्केट ऑल टाइम हाई लेवल पे है. एंड एक थंब रूल जो वॉरेन बफे यूज करता है, मार्केट कैप टू जीडीपी रेशियो, भारत का कारोबार कितना है और स्टॉक मार्केट का मार्केट कैप कितना है, उस रेशियो में वी आर एट 132%. हमारी एवरेज है 80%. सो 132 ओवर 80, एनी वन कैन से दैट यू आर एक्सपेंसिव, यू आर एट ऑल टाइम हाई लेवल. क्या मार्केट नीचे आएगा? आर आंसर इज नो. वी थिंक मार्केट हैज वेरी वेरी लिमिटेड डाउनसाइड. यहाँ से बड़े करेक्शन आने की गुंजाइश बहुत कम है. ऐसा क्यों? एक कॉर्पोरेट डेट टू जीडीपी रेशियो कम हो गया है. जो पहले हमारे पास लिवरेज ग्रुप थे, वीडियोकॉन, लैंको, जयप्रकाश, ऐसे अब रहे नहीं हैं. कंपनीज की बैलेंस शीट काफ़ी अच्छी हो गई है. अगर आपके कॉर्पोरेट क्षेत्र की बैलेंस शीट अच्छी है तो उनमें करेक्शन आने की गुंजाइश कम रहती है. दूसरा, कंपनी का मुनाफा भी काफ़ी बढ़ गया है. पिछले सिर्फ 5 सालों में प्रॉफिट टू जीडीपी रेशियो 1.6% से 4.9% हो गया है. एंड लोग कहते हैं कि ये शायद और ऊपर जाएगा. स्टॉक्स आर स्लेव्स ऑफ अर्निंग पावर. प्रॉफिट आता गया तो प्राइसेस भी चलती रहेगी. आपका मार्केट कैप टू जीडीपी रेशियो ऊपर है, बट प्रॉफिट टू जीडीपी रेशियो भी ऊपर है, और उस वजह से वैल्यूएशन अब रीजनेबल प्राइस पे है. बहुत महंगे नहीं हैं, सस्ते भी नहीं हैं, बहुत महंगे भी नहीं हैं, अपनी फेयर वैल्यू के आसपास है. लार्ज कैप हिस्टोरिकल एवरेज के करीब है. स्मॉल एंड मिड कैप थोड़ा अपनी एवरेज वैल्यूएशन से ऊपर है, बट अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ काफ़ी जोर से आ रही है. नेक्स्ट ईयर हमें लगता है कि निफ्टी 50 की अर्निंग पर शेयर 1142 और 1327 रुपये आ जाएगी. इस साल 1142, नेक्स्ट ईयर 1327. अगर इतनी अर्निंग आती है तो मार्केट में गिरावट का बहुत बड़ा मौका नहीं है. दूसरा, मार्केट में फंडामेंटल के साथ साथ अब बाइंग पावर भी है. म्यूचुअल फंड के पास तकरीबन सालाना 4 लाख करोड़ की खरीदारी की बाइंग पावर है. एसआईपी में 2 लाख करोड़ के ऊपर आते हैं. हमारे फंड में 90,000 करोड़ का कैश बैलेंस है. कुल मिला के अगर गोरे बेचने भी आए तो 40-50 बिलियन डॉलर का माल तो म्यूचुअल फंड ही खरीद लेंगे. अगर इतनी खरीदारी है, इतना फायर पावर है, तो मार्केट में करेक्शन कहाँ से आएगा? ये ग्लेन मैक्सवेल करके ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्रिकेटर को आपने सुना होगा. अफगानिस्तान के सामने उन्हें बड़ी जोर से दोहरा शतक मार के हारती हुई बाजी को जीता था. उस समय मैंने ये एक आर्टिकल लिखा था मनी कंट्रोल में कि इंडियन रिटेल इन्वेस्टर इज लाइक ग्लेन मैक्सवेल. वो टाइम पे पता नहीं था कि मंडे ट्यूसडे इलेक्शन वाले दिन पे देख लेंगे. रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स एक्चुअली प्लेड लाइक ग्लेन मैक्सवेल. नॉर्मली हम लोग एक कहावत कहते थे, सर जस्ट गो बैक लिटिल, कि खरबूजा छुरी पे गिरे या छुरी खरबूजे पे गिरे, कटना तो खरबूजे को ही है. सो इन्वेस्टर हो या ट्रेडर हो, रिटेल तो लॉस ही करेगा. इस बार रिटेल ने सारा हिसाब किताब ठीक कर दिया. इलेक्शन के पहले गोरे बेच रहे थे. तकरीबन कैश और फ्यूचर्स में 1 लाख करोड़ की सेलिंग की. रिटेल, म्यूचुअल फंड, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी सब ने लिया. एग्जिट पोल अनाउंस हुए, गोरे लोग खरीदने आ गए, अपनी शॉर्ट कवर करने लगे. उन्होंने तकरीबन 7,000 करोड़ की कैश में बाइंग की, 5,000-6,000 करोड़ की फ्यूचर में बाइंग की. रिटेल ने उनको माल दे दिया. रिजल्ट आया, अंदाज से कम आया, मार्केट जोर से गिरा. रिटेल ने 21,000 करोड़ रुपए की बाइंग उस दिन कैश मार्केट में की. फ्यूचर्स की अलग, म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा दिया वो अलग. वेडनेसडे को गोरों ने थोड़ा और बेचने की कोशिश की. रिटेल इन्वेस्टर ने वापस उनकी खिंचाई कर दी. नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे तक मार्केट वहाँ पे था जहाँ पे इलेक्शन के पहले था। अगर आप फ्राइडे को छुट्टी लेके इस फ्राइडे आते इलेक्शन रिजल्ट के बाद, पता ही नहीं चलता मार्केट में क्या हो गया। दिस इज द पावर ऑफ रिटेल इन्वेस्टर। अगर वो लोग ऐसा खेलेंगे तो आप मैच कहाँ से हारोगे। नाउ समवन कैन आस्क कि ग्लेन मैक्सवेल खाली वर्ल्ड कप खेला, आईपीएल में तो कुछ नहीं किया। बट आर रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स आर मच स्मार्टर नाउ। दे आर प्लेइंग वन डे इंटरनेशनल वेल। लाइक कोविड समय में अप्रैल मई जून जुलाई 20 एफपीआई केप्ट ऑन सेलिंग। अप्रैल में तकरीबन 60,000 करोड़ बेचा था, मई जून जुलाई में 30-40 हज़ार करोड़ बेचा था, सब रिटेल ने एब्जॉर्ब कर लिया। दे प्ले टेस्ट मैच ऑल्सो वेल। लाइक अक्टूबर 21 टू जून 22 2.5 लाख करोड़ का माल बेचा था, सब रिटेल इन्वेस्टर ने एब्जॉर्ब कर दिया। एंड T20 मंडे ट्यूसडे की एग्जिट पोल इलेक्शन वाली, अगेन रिटेल वोन। सो जस्ट गो बैक। Retail investor knows how to play one day, they know how to play test match, they know how to play T20. They are like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, जहाँ खड़े कर दो सब खेल लेंगे। This kind of earnings and flows, money and fundamentals together means market में downside correction बहुत कम आएगा। Now we know where market will not go. करेक्शन लिमिटेड है, छोटा सा है। वी शुड ऑल्सो नो वेयर वी शुड नॉट गो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल IRFC एंड HDFC बैंक दोनों बहुत अच्छी कंपनी है, बट IRFC ट्रेड्स एट डबल द वैल्यूएशन ऑफ HDFC बैंक। ये इतना हाई वैल्यूएशन क्यों, थोड़ा समझ के बाहर है। भेल एंड L&T बोथ आर ग्रेट कंपनीज, but BHEL today trades at 9 times valuation of L&T. Again, this is little bit beyond explanation. IOB and Axis Bank both are good bank. In this hall, how many people have account in IOB Bank? मेरा अकेले का है. And how many people have bank account in Axis Bank? Many people. Yet IOB trades at double the valuation of Axis Bank. अब मेरे अकेले के अकाउंट पे IOB का ये वैल्यूएशन नहीं चल सकता। In all these places, what we are observing one common thing, floating stock is very, very limited. For example, IOB को देखिए, 98% of stock is with President of India and she doesn't trade. Only 2% stock is with outside investors. अब फ्लोट कम है, स्टॉक मार्केट में कम है, तो आप जो भाव चाहे छपवा दो। IOB's PE is today equivalent to some FMCG company. FMCG कंपनी का PE ज़्यादा होता है बिकॉज उनको कैपिटल नहीं चाहिए और उनका रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% होता है। बैंक तो लिवरेज लेते हैं 10 टाइम, 15 टाइम, 20 टाइम, एंड ROE फिर भी 12%, 15%, 18%, 20% बनाते हैं। बहुत कम बैंक होगी ऐसी जिसने जिंदगी में कभी 70, 80, 90% ROE देखा है। एंड येट IOB trades at same valuation as an FMCG company. It is less to do with fundamentals and more to do with floating stock. We think all this low floating stock and high valuation counter are where you should not go. Now some people are clicking photograph. Let me warn you, ये slide मैं 6 महीने से घुमा रहा हूँ और उसके बाद ये सारे स्टॉक ऊपर गए, एक भी नीचे नहीं आया है। तो कल बेचने की गलती मत करना, because these stocks can still go up. They will correct only when there is a supply emerging. If IOB comes with an IPO, I doubt they'll be able to raise money at 5 times book or 50 PE. So there is momentum here, but it is avoidable. I doubt if people can make sustainable money in this counters at this valuation. Now, markets are always discounting few things. अगर उसे ऊपर जाना है तो दिस आर द 6 थिंग्स विच मार्केट हैज डिस्काउंटेड। एक, यूएस फेड ब्याज की दरें काटेगा। 12 महीने से फेड ने रेट काटी नहीं है, बट मार्केट मान के बैठा है आज नहीं तो कल सुबह का भूला शाम को घर लौट आएगा। दूसरा, कोलिएशन सरकार है, बट मोदी है तो मुमकिन है 5 साल निकल जाएंगे। एनी shock there could result into correction. Third, oil prices, despite all geopolitical risk, will remain around $70-80 a barrel. They will not go into triple digit. Consumption will remain strong and will recover. Geopolitical risk जो है वो ठीक है, नया कुछ खड़ा नहीं होगा, and corporate earnings growth चलता रहेगा। दिस इज व्हाट मार्केट हैज प्राइस्ड इन। थोड़ा ऑप्टिमिस्टिक है, डिस्पाइट फेड नॉट कटिंग रेट, मार्केट इज बिलीविंग कि फेड काटेगा। डिस्पाइट इजराइल हमास वॉर, मार्केट इज बिलीविंग दैट ऑयल विल रिमेन सबड्यूड। बट नॉटविथस्टैंडिंग दैट, if this events materializes, markets will continue to rise. If not, there might be some correction, but they are likely to be short, they are likely to be shallow. Market में bearing low floating stock high valuation counters, बाकी की market ठीक ठाक लगती है, वहाँ पे investor पैसा बनाएगा। At this point of time अगर आप small cap में जा रहे हो, सोच समझ के जाना, वहाँ पे valuation थोड़ा महंगा लगता है। Mid cap में ठीक ठाक है, स्पेशली लार्जर मिड कैप, एंड लार्ज कैप में आप आराम से इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। इन योर पोर्टफोलियो इट इज़ टाइम टू बी इक्वल वेट टू इक्विटी बिकॉज वैल्यूएशंस आर फेयरली प्राइस्ड। अगर सिग्नल की भाषा में करें तो स्मॉल कैप रेड सिग्नल है, मिड कैप येलो सिग्नल है और लार्ज कैप ग्रीन सिग्नल है, एंड ओवरऑल इक्विटी येलो सिग्नल है। ओवरवेट होने का टाइम नहीं है बिकॉज मार्केट्स हैव रन अप, बट एट द सेम टाइम बेचने का भी समय नहीं है बिकॉज यहाँ से भी लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर पैसा बनाएगा। यहाँ से आने वाले समय में कौन से सेक्टर के स्टॉक्स अच्छा करेंगे? एक, एफएमसीजी, पिछले 1 साल से कोई खास रिटर्न बना नहीं है। पिछले 3 साल से भी अगर आईटीसी का निकाल दे तो खास रिटर्न बना नहीं है। सरकार इस बजट में कंजम्पशन को बूस्ट करने के लिए कुछ न कुछ अनाउंसमेंट करेगी बेस्ड ऑन द इलेक्शन वर्डिक्ट। मॉनसून अच्छा रहेगा तो रूरल एंड एग्री इकोनॉमी को फ़ायदा होगा, एंड ये सारी चीज़ें एफएमसीजी स्टॉक्स में दिखनी चाहिए। 5 साल से प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स ने कोई खास रिटर्न नहीं दिया है, बट उनके बिजनेस अच्छी तरह से चले हैं। बिजनेस चलते रहे और प्राइस नहीं चले तो वो लेने का सबसे अच्छा मौका है। आई थिंक प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स अंडर परफॉर्मेंस धीरे धीरे ख़त्म होगा और यहाँ से उनमें रिटर्न आना चालू होगा। फाइनली एक इंडेक्स है आईटी इंडेक्स, जिसने 3 साल से कोई रिटर्न नहीं दिया, वहाँ पे अभी भी कन्विक्शन नहीं आ रहा है। नॉर्मली आईटी क्षेत्र साल में 1.5-2 लाख लोगों को नौकरी देता है। पिछले साल उन्होंने 60,000 लोगों को जाने दिया, नई अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं की, तो 2 लाख लेने की जगह पे 60,000 लोगों को कम किया। अब जब तक वो नए लोगों को नहीं लेगा तब तक इस क्षेत्र में निवेश करना डिबेटेबल रहेगा। तो आईटी क्षेत्र में ध्यान रखिए। अगर इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट कॉलेज कैंपस से कंपनी के कैंपस में जाने लगे तो आईटी क्षेत्र लेने जैसा है, नहीं तो दूर रहना ही अच्छा है। तो एफएमसीजी और प्राइवेट बैंक यहाँ से ले सकते हैं। आईटी में ध्यान रखना चाहिए, शायद नेक्स्ट 3-6 महीने में लेने का मौका आ जाएगा। ओवरऑल अगर देखें तो इंडियन इक्विटी के लिए ये एडवर्टाइजमेंट स्विच वॉच की याद रखनी चाहिए। यू नेवर एक्चुअली ओन अ पटेक फिलिप, यू मियरली लुक आफ्टर इट फॉर द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन। अमृत काल है अपना, विकसित भारत बनेंगे, 2047 में बनेंगे या 2055 में बनेंगे वो अलग बात है, बट बनेंगे वो पक्का है। एंड इसीलिए इन्वेस्टर को निवेश करके फायदा रहेगा. दिस वी कैन स्किप. So what is the summary? There will be global growth slowdown, but अपनी गाड़ी अच्छी चल रही है. There will be rate cuts led by US Fed in next 6 months. फिक्स्ड इनकम में अगर जाना है तो सबसे लंबी मेच्योरिटी का पेपर लेके लॉक कर दीजिए. आज जो आपको 7% रिटर्न देता है, कल वो 6% देंगे 18 महीने के अंदर. आज जो 8% देता है वो 7% देंगे. 50 से 75 बेसिस पॉइंट ब्याज के दरों में कटौती होगी. सो जितनी लंबी मेच्योरिटी का आप पेपर ले सके ले लीजिए. गोल्ड अच्छा करता रहेगा बिकॉज सेंट्रल बैंक्स आजकल दुनिया में 1000 टन सोने की खरीदी कर रहे हैं. गोल्ड के ऊपर 18% टैक्स लगता है, 15% इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी और फिर जीएसटी एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. इस बजट में चांसेस है कि गोल्ड स्मगलिंग को डिस्करेज करने के लिए इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी कम हो जाए. अगर वैसा होता है तो रूपी गोल्ड प्राइसेस नीचे आ सकते हैं. बट डॉलर गोल्ड प्राइसेस के ऊपर हमारा व्यू है कि आज जो $2,400 है, कल मतलब 3-4 सालों के अंदर $3,000 के ऊपर जा सकता है. गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर सब्जेक्ट टू इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी कट्स आर वर्थ इन्वेस्टिंग. Equity में large cap looks much better compared to small and mid cap from a risk return point of view. Domestic cyclicals like auto, cement, real estate, construction will do well. And going forward, private bank and FMCG sector will do well. IT and chemical में थोड़ा ध्यान रखना चाहिए. यहाँ पे अभी भी एंट्री का मौका नहीं आया है. And finally, लो फ्लोटिंग स्टॉक हाई वैल्यूएशन काउंटर से दूर रहिए. कल उसमें करेक्शन है ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, बट ये वैल्यूएशन पे, ये प्राइस पे निवेश करके लंबे समय में पैसा बनाना बहुत मुश्किल दिखता है. दिस इज हाउ ब्रॉडली वी सी द मार्केट. हैप्पी टू टेक योर क्वेश्चंस.
Till the first question comes, let me ask a question. You showed the India is going to be engine now, like, or we are in the front, and you showed probably the bullet train. So like Ahmedabad, Mumbai, when we are actually going to take off that, or it's just an illusion?
So actually देखा जाए तो bullet train shows good and bad of India. The good part is that we are building a bullet train. It is funded out of almost all credit from Japan. When we borrowed, yen was 90 to $1. Today it is 150 plus to $1. तो आपकी कॉस्ट आधी हो गई. नॉर्मली हम बिल्ली थे, अब बंदर बन गए हैं. The interest on bullet train is 0.1%.
लेकिन हमारे लोग उसकी कॉस्ट बढ़ा रहे हैं, उसका क्या है?
So that's why I said there is good as well as bad, Uday bhai. The good part is that we have to pay it over 50 years. The good part is that we have seen whenever two cities get connected by high-speed railway network, it results into development of entire region. Shanghai, Shenzhen. It shows the advantage of connectivity. Now what is wrong? We have a law which says that if I have to acquire your land, I'll pay you 4 times market price. तो लैंड ओनर को बैठे बैठे पैसा मिल रहा है. नाउ दैट मनी इज लाइंग इन इंडियन इकोनॉमी विच इज गुड. वी विल नॉट पे टू जापान फॉर बाइंग लैंड इन इंडिया. बट इज दैट मनी गोइंग इन टू प्रोडक्टिव यूसेज? आंसर इज नो. एंड हु विल पे द प्राइस फॉर इट? द कम्यूटर्स. So our train may become expensive and hence the benefit which should come to us will not be as high. Second, यही project जितनी तेजी से execute होना चाहिए उतनी तेजी से नहीं हुआ. Government बदलती है तो project की priority बदलती है. Now can we overcome that? Can we do fast execution? Instead of paying 4 times for land acquisition, can we pay the market price? But hota kya hai ki people come to protest and then government gives in. Our infrastructure projects are becoming more and more expensive. And that's where the challenge is. Like Mumbai local train, they defy law of physics. They carry far more number of passengers than needed. But we are not able to increase capacity of that. Again, कहाँ पे land acquire करे, कहाँ पे build करे. How do we create faster execution of projects so that they remain competitive and cheaper? That will be our challenge.
Sir, you have thrown light on FMCG and banking sector. So what about your views on infrastructure? Because government is also likely to keep the same momentum in infrastructure spending. So what are your views on that?
So infrastructure sectors are already pricing in government spending. उनको पता था कि सरकार खर्चा करती रहेगी because उनके पास collection ज़्यादा है. तो it is not something new. Real estate, construction, cement, pipes, ये price कर चुके हैं. So यहाँ से infrastructure has already delivered return and hence the return may moderate. Whereas FMCG and private bank hasn't delivered, their valuations have become cheaper and they can surprise on the upside in terms of profit. FMCG में volume बढ़ेगा तो अपने आप profit आ जाएगा. So infrastructure is a good sector. It will do well. वहाँ पे खाली ध्यान ये रखना पड़ेगा कि सरकार की प्रायोरिटी कहाँ पे जाती है. पहले हाईवे था, फिर रेलवे बना, फिर हाईवे, रेलवे और वाटर बना. Now will it be highway, railway, water or something else? Maybe looking at the water shortages, at some point of time we'll have to think about desalination plant. Now, I don't know whether in this budget we'll focus on desalination. Ideally, on the all coast of India, and we have large coast, we should set up desalination plant that will provide water to all these cities on the coast. And city के जो water reservoir है, that can be given to interiors. That kind of like development, if it happens, desalination related companies will get a boost. वो आज डिस्काउंट नहीं हुआ है, बट रोड बनेंगे, घर से नल तक जल जाएगा, रेलवे में नई ट्रेन्स बनेगी, नई पटरी लगेगी, सिग्नलिंग लगेगी, वो सब ऑलरेडी प्राइस्ड हो चुका है. श्योर. सो सर, डिफेंस क्षेत्र में अब बजट कितनी तेजी से बढ़ेगा? आई डोंट थिंक सो. अब मतलब बजट बहुत तेजी से बढ़ेगा बिकॉज आपको बाकी सारी चीज़ों पे खर्चा करना पड़ेगा. सो जो कंपनीज सिर्फ लोकल मार्केट को सर्विस करेगी, आई थिंक उनके शेयर अपने टॉप पे पहुंच गए हैं. अब यहाँ से उनका री रेटिंग होना मुश्किल है. बट अगर हम दुनिया में देखें तो दो युद्ध चल रहे हैं, इजराइल हमास एंड रशिया यूक्रेन. देयर इज पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ अ थर्ड वॉर skirmish between China Taiwan. Almost all countries are running short on their arms, ammunitions and equipments. All those companies which are catering to export market, they will do very well. आज तक आपको ऑर्डर मिलते नहीं थे, अब सामने से लोग आएंगे कि भैया मुझे चाहिए, प्लीज दे दो. सो एक्सपोर्ट्स ऑफ आर्म्स, एम्यूनेशंस विल बिकम इजी. नाउ व्हाट विल पीपल गो एंड बाय? लाइक वी वर मेकिंग अ राइफल कॉल इंसास. आई डोंट नो आप में से कभी किसी ने चलाई है कि नहीं, बट इट वॉज नॉट द बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट. वो चला नहीं जाओ तो सामने वाला मरे उससे पहले खुद मर जाए, वैसा लगता था. It's a lighter weight, but it was not the best product. Now, वो आप एक्सपोर्ट नहीं कर पाओगे. बट जैसे नागपुर में अपनी सोलर एक्सप्लोसिव्स करके कंपनी है, अभी आपने वो ड्रोन का पढ़ा होगा कि दे हैव क्रिएटेड सुसाइड ड्रोन्स कॉल्ड नाग समथिंग. Now that's like real technology. It's a suicide drone. It can go and hit enemies, and it's made in India. Now वो लोग अगर export करने जाए ऐसी चीजें, तो there will be takers. They have created ammunition which carries only light, no sound. So in eco-sensitive terrain, you can blast. Now that will be used for commercial mining, but that's a huge market. तो जिस डिफेंस कंपनी में एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए प्रोडक्ट और टेक्नोलॉजी है, they will do far better than those defense companies which are focused in local market, because अब बजट उतनी तेज गति से नहीं बढ़ेगा. On railway, again, lot of new trains, tracks, signaling is priced into the current valuation. Most railway stocks are trading at 40, 50, 60, 70 P. So that has already captured the existing spend. Now, day before yesterday, there was an accident. And, there is a lot of talk about Kavach being installed in trains. We haven't put it into all trains. But because of day before yesterday's accident, can that be fast-tracked? If that happens, then companies which are engaged in making Kavach, they will do very well. So in railway as well as defense, now it's more bottom-up stock specific. Are they capturing export market? Are they capturing those new spending of government like Kavach in railway?
My name is Shrikant Kuvalekar. My question is a slightly bigger question. It's not exactly a question, it's a thought also. The whole situation in the country unexpectedly changed in last 15 days, right? What was the reasons behind that? So agrarian crisis, the lack of balancing between farm prices for farmers, inflation, then climate change, all this creating different kind of risks, not only for the price risk and supply risk, but also for a political risk, power risk. So and now you must have read, so many people are talking about it, what is happening in wheat, right? Import, then government says no import, we have sufficient stock, but the reality everybody knows we don't have stocks. So again, we are going back to that situation which was created last 1.5 years, that more import, pulses, wheat, everything for food security. So food security is taking a center stage. Now you people are so influential people and you can influence government policies. We know that wheat is a bigger question for country, even rice also to some extent, but wheat, there is a market in the world, CME, CBOT, where wheat you can get much cheaper than what we get in India. Why can't country hedge all these risks by single trade maybe through Food Corporation of India or government? In 2007 or 8, when Sharad Pawar was food minister, it was done once secretly, and that time it was a super success. India's wheat imports were hedged through option on CBOT. So and now this government is taking quite bold decisions. They want to see a different India, and there are decisions happening like that. There are a lot of reforms happening. Can you people influence government on this? Isn't it right time for that? Thank you.
So one, our expertise is more economy and market, not agriculture. Second, in all government, decision making is always questionable, because with the benefit of hindsight, auditors, comptroller and audit general, they can all raise questions. Swiss National Bank lost $50 billion. There was no question mark on the Swiss National Bank governor ki boss kidhar loss kiya. If RBI did something like that, people will jump on them. So as a nation, as a democracy, we haven't reached that maturity level where we can look at the overall benefit of decision-making process. But the way we are structured today will focus on the side effect which has caused a loss, but will ignore all the benefit which has come together. We are one of the largest importer of crude in the world. When crude prices were low, there was a proposal that either we go and hedge crude or we go and do stockpiling of crude. And it was probably pushed back because even if you buy at $15 and oil will go to 10, no one will say that you have bought at 15. People will say you have lost $5. And Mr. Varatharajan is here. He can share more details on this kind of decision making. Look at farm laws. The whole approach was that can we put investment into farm? Today our productivity is one of the lowest in farm. Forget rural India, even in urban India, आज आप बाहर जाके देखो, तो there will be tempo where the person is selling mangoes. But are they legally allowed to sell? Answer is no. They are supposed to sell in APMC. तो वो आ जाते हैं, यहाँ पे बेचते हैं, वहाँ पे बेचते हैं, बाहुबली से डरते हैं. In a city like Mumbai, नवी मुंबई के ब्रिज के वहाँ पे आप जाओ तो आज भी एपीएमसी मार्केट में, एंड आई हैवंट गॉन फॉर सम टाइम, बट जब मैं पहले विजिट करता था सर, वो लोग एक दूसरे से हाथ मिलाते हैं, ऊपर रुमाल डालते हैं और वो उंगली से टच करके पता चलता है भाव क्या है. तो जो हैंड एक्सचेंज कर रहा है खाली उसी को मालूम है भाव क्या है, बाकी किसी को पता ही नहीं. तो एक पोटैटो 2 रुपये किलो बिकेगा, दूसरा 20 रुपये किलो बिकेगा. Now, all those things needed to be solved through farm laws. Unfortunately, it never took off. On commodity hedging, on our imports hedging, the real risk is, with the benefit of hindsight, people will only focus on the loss which you have incurred rather than the benefit you have given to the society. How do you ensure that you buy right at the bottom of the price and sell at the top of the price? वो तो भगवान नहीं कर पाएगा, fund manager कहाँ से करेगा? In fact, one of the proposal which we had submitted was like, can we extend duration of our investments? आज interest rate ऊपर गए, आपको 2 लाख करोड़ dividend मिला, 5 साल के लिए lock करते instead of 3 years, आपको 2 लाख करोड़ हर next 5 साल तक मिलेगा. But that's never going to happen because again वही risk है. बस 460, 470 हो गई तो loss count करेंगे, carry कोई count नहीं करेगा. So as a nation we haven't matured to support decision making, and which is why everyone is very, very cautious and we pay the price. Now on the food side, there are bright spots. For example, in Northeast, there are states which are encouraging palm plantation. That environment, climate is more comparable to Southeast Asia. Now palm takes about 7 years to grow. Some beginning has been made. If it multiplies, then hopefully our import of palm will come down. On pulses, again, we have done a reasonably good job in controlling our imports, but demand is huge, so there is still some import. In aquaculture, we have done great job. Our aquaculture exports have taken off low. They bought from market, mix it in their crop and gave it saying bumper crop आया. 1-2 साल company ने चलाया फिर भाग गए. Now this kind of behavior cannot be accepted. But how do you enforce rule of law against farmers? It's not that easy. One model is Amul model. We became from net importer of milk to the largest producer of milk. एक जमाने में बटर पॉल्सन का ही आता था, एंड आपको पता होगा हम लोग 25 पैसे का छोटा सा पैकेट लेके आते थे और उसके वो जो प्लास्टिक या पेपर था उसको भी घिस डालते थे. आज अमूल का पैकेट हम लोग ऐसे नहीं घिसते हैं. That's the difference between Paulson to Amul. Can we create Amul kind of cooperative model which has succeeded so well in milk into others? I think there is a long road to cover because it will require one, matured leadership and dedicated execution. वो मंथन मूवी बहुत जगह प्ले करनी पड़ेगी. Do we have that kind of bandwidth? Answer is no. There is a stealth privatization going on in agriculture. For example, now we are constructing silos instead of warehouses, and that's into private hand. In Himachal Pradesh, so sir, this is very interesting. An apple tree, whether it's small, big or large, it delivers the same amount of apple. The size of the tree has nothing to do with output. So if you have smaller apple trees, per acre your apple output will increase. And if you have large trees, the output will reduce. Coca-Cola, as part of their CSR, joined hands with Himachal apple farmers and started giving them saplings for smaller trees. Suddenly per acre output went up. Now that's Coca-Cola, they have technology, they can do it. How do we replicate this in other parts? There is another technique of agriculture coming called boosting agriculture. Normally when you merge seeds, it takes half of genes from the two seeds. In boosting agriculture, you take all the genes and hence you become more productive. Now, can those kind of technology be used to increase productivity? Automatically your problem will get sorted out. A country like Netherlands, which is having less population than Mumbai, and size-wise it will be Mumbai and Thane together, exports about $70 billion of agriculture goods. We have barely touched 50 billion. So we have a lot to learn from Netherlands to increase our agriculture throughput. But that can happen either with Amul or with Coca-Cola kind of CSR activity or with pure commercialization.
So, your view on de-dollarization, possible de-dollarization, whether rupee will become stronger. And secondly, few of the HNIs have experienced that in public issues, even if they put 3 crores, 5 crores, they don't get firm allotment. So those people have stopped applying for new issues. So what will be the future in this case for HNI category?
Sure. So one, our issues are getting oversubscribed multiple times, and they are all getting oversubscribed because their listing happens at a premium. The day listing will not happen at a premium, this oversubscription also will go away. What we are also seeing is that in many cases, within 6 months, if I remember statistics correctly, almost 87% of issues are trading below their issue price within 1 year when the lock-in period is over. So my recommendation to HNI is that don't focus on IPO, it's a crowded market. But after 6 months and 1 year, when the lock-in period for certain institutional investor is over, try to buy those stocks. You will get far cheaper than IPO price. On the de-dollarization, can rupee become stronger? There are both sides of views. I am in the camp that rupee's destiny is to depreciate. Our productivity level is lower to our peer group. Our inflation is higher to our peer group. So rupee cannot technically appreciate on a fundamental basis because your productivity and inflation both are adverse. Can it appreciate for a short term because of flows? Yes. But even if it swings, eventually it will have to come down. So I am of the camp that no, rupee will depreciate. People who believe rupee will appreciate is essentially looking at growth and potential increase in productivity of India. As we build roads, as we build railway, as we build logistics, hopefully productivity will go up and hence rupee can appreciate. I doubt that. Will de-dollarization happen? Again, where is the alternative to dollar? Will people trust euro? Answer is no. Will people trust China? Answer is no. Which currency people will trust? Japan, their population is shrinking. After 50 years, there may not be enough Japanese to pay your money back. So, which currency you will invest into? So there is no alternative, hence dollars de-dollarization may not happen. Second, normally de-dollarization happens with weakening military power. US remains absolute military power. Their budget is more than half of world's spending on military. With that kind of military power, unlikely that dollar will de-dollarize. So it's a slow depreciation, not a sudden fall.
Thank you very much, Nilesh Bhai. I now request Chitra sir for the closing statements.
I think we have heard Nilesh Shah, who is the master in the analysis of stock market. So I'll not touch upon those subjects, but a few thoughts. I must thank him for referring to the time when I was indulging in teaching in a college. I think that I did for about 15 years, and I'm happy that I was able to share something which I knew at that point of time. So let me look at the word guru in a different context, since we use the word guru. See, if you look at the spelling, it is G-U-R-U. Let me convert that into Hindi and English. G-U-R-U. I think that's the guru. Someone who is able to tell the student, tell somebody else that you are you. And I think once a person understands that you are you, it makes a big difference, and that's what Nilesh Shah is here. He has all the ingredients. I think there was some teacher required at the stool level who told him that go up. In college, actually, you don't need a teacher, but at that time in 70, whatever period, we were fortunate that we used to get students. Today, if you go and ask a college lecturer, does he get a student? I think without disrespect, I would say the answer is very difficult in public forum. Now, that's the situation. So I think somebody who can be a guru is only one who can tell the person that, look, you are you develop yourself, you command yourself, and you can go to any height. I think that's what every one of us should try and do. We don't have to be in a college teaching to make somebody else learn from us. In exchange of life on a daily basis, we keep on exchanging thoughts. The point is, do we really exchange genuine thoughts? Many of us keep on doing gossiping. Pardon me if I use some words. Many of us keep on telling stories. Like in a stock market, normally I don't meet somebody who says that I have lost money. Most of the people say I have made money. Now in economics, I have never understood if everybody makes money, from where does it come? For somebody to make money, somebody must give up. For somebody to make profit, somebody must, in a way, make loss. And therefore, in a stock market, and I've been a director of Bombay Stock Exchange, I've been a director of at least large-sized companies, I won't take the names for the sake of convenience, for a large part of my last 25 years. The point is, people keep on telling stories which are normally half-truth. So those who are in the stock market should start looking at people who can honestly tell you something. I think that's the first point I would wish to make when I'm talking on a program which is connected with the stock market. The problem is nobody actually comes out and says what is honestly his view. That view can be different. That you may not agree with the view, but do people really connect the view on an honest basis? Unfortunately, the answer seems to be not necessarily. Now, how do you evaluate whether the other person is speaking honestly or not? I think that is where your ability to read the other person is equally very important. Somebody merely because he's your friend does not mean that he is going to tell you the truth. So do you learn the ability to understand the other person's communication? Do you learn, is he really telling you the truth or not? I think is very, very important for any one of us who wants to take tips from somebody, because this is another word, tip. Now, those who give tip, if they're intelligent, I think they would have made more money in doing that thing rather than only giving tips. Now, that's actually the first problem over here. The second point I would like to make, since we are talking on economics, I thought let me just make a mention of a few things. And I think today the tax level is not high. The problem is the manner in which the government spends the money is a questionable at the back of the mind of many citizens. The tax level of 30%, 25%, I cannot complain on a world basis to be high. The question is the manner in which the money gets spent, the efficiency and effectiveness that is expected out of such spending is, I think, to be improved upon. And that is where we come to the next point. By and large, I think one illustration was taken about BHEL and L&T. I've been a part of L&T for a large period of my period as an independent director. So I won't comment on the company per se. The BHEL gets orders even if they are making losses. BHEL gets orders, this is not to criticize BHEL. This is to say that they keep on getting orders even if the deliveries are much beyond the expected period. Does somebody make that kind of an analysis? Answer is really not. And therefore the market is a result of also the expected orders of that company and so many other factors. The point I thought I would make is, if it is a government company, why it cannot run in the best efficient, effective manner is the real question. By and large, at the back of our mind, if it is a government department, we would expect them to work not at the best, but maybe the second best or something below. And who are responsible? I think all of us are responsible. Some of our brothers, sisters, friends is also working there. It is not as if somebody from outside India has come and working in the government department. We are all people from the same country who are working either in the government department, private, etc., etc. But does it mean that if somebody is working in a government department, he would work at the least efficiency? And somebody work in the private, he would work the best way? I think that somehow psychology has to change. We have not been able to make that change. The next point is, as a country, by and large, I think India exists because of three situations: family, faith, and freedom. You think over this over a period of time, our existence of family, as long as it continues, I think our inner strength is much bigger. The moment we are able to give up on family fronts, our inner strength will go down. The freedom is the greatest asset for us. And I think that's why we see so many people who are otherwise not coming from great, rich communities, but are still able to make it at the top, whichever way they go. So I think family, faith, and freedom is what makes it. And I think the last point I would like to make is, which you touched upon at the end, it is the execution which is the problem. I think all high ideas are excellent, but those ideas, if they are not executed, they really mean nothing. And that's for, by and large, one can look at the people and divide them into two parts. Those who think do not matter, and those who matter do not think. When you go back, I think you can look at the sentences from your own angle. There are a number of people who keep on thinking, but do they matter? Probably maybe not really. And those who matter, do they have the time to think? I think the answer is something which all of us at the heart of heart need to find out. So I think if we are talking economics, it is just not the share market. It is the collective economic working of all of us put together that we should be able to talk of. It is very interesting to see how the market will go up, which share will go up. I think that's a part of the whole process of economics. But effectiveness, efficiency of whatever we are doing, whichever area of work we are, if that is what we are able to improve, execution will automatically move up. There is nobody else from outside the country who's going to come here to execute. I think we are the people to execute. Problem is, does every one of us really think from that angle? I think the idea of Lokmanya Seva Sangha would be to promote good ideas, to promote people, to bring forward to you all such good people who believe in both theory and practice. And I think that's how Mr. Nilesh Shah is here. He has the theory and he has the practice also. So I think that is the direction in which all of us need to move, that we know the ideas, but do we implement them? And do we implement them in a collective manner so that we can do better tomorrow as compared to yesterday? And I think finally only one kind of a thing, that all of us keep on doing efforts in different directions, but they must be in the ultimate interest of the nation. If we do that, I think then we are useful to the society at large. In Sanskrit it is stated, Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam pratigacchati. So as long as we make efforts which are in the interest of the nation, which are productive, which are effective, I think we are doing a good job. So let us all collectively think from that direction instead of just looking at stock market, one share up, one share down. Though that's very, very important, but that's not the end of commercial economic life. So I think we thank Nilesh Bhai for your being here, and I'm sure you will keep on visiting us more often. And I thank all of you also for being here. You have got lots of, I won't use the word tip, because he has not given any tips. So you have got a lot of things to look at, you have got a lot of things to learn, you have got a lot of things on which you need to ponder upon. So I think he has made you think, and I think that is the greatest thing. So from that angle, he has been a real guru today for all of us. Thank you very much.